Do you ever wake up at night with such a sharp, brutal cramp in your leg that you're forced to jump out of bed, heart racing, gasping in pain? Or have you found yourself gripping the wall, terrified that your legs might give out beneath you at any moment? If you're over 60, please hear this clearly. This isn't just getting older. It's your body crying for help. And if you don't listen now, you could lose your independence far sooner than you ever imagined. Because the truth is, losing the strength in your legs isn't some unavoidable fate. It's not the final chapter you have to accept. It's the result of small, quiet deficiencies stealing your stability day by day, year after year. But no one tells you that. No one explains why you can be eating 3 meals a day and still be starving your muscles of what they need most. Today I want to show you exactly why your legs feel weaker with every passing month, and the 3 essential vitamins your body is almost certainly starving for right now. I want to tell you the truth that's rarely explained clearly enough, why a normal diet fails older adults, how even those who eat well end up losing the very nutrients that keep them on their feet. And I want to share with you real stories of people who went from trembling at every step to walking freely again in just weeks. Don't look away, because by the end of this conversation, you'll know exactly how to stop the nighttime cramps, restore the power in your legs, and feel like yourself again, steady, strong, and free. If any of this resonates with you, even a little, please take a moment to tap the like button and subscribe. I'd love to have you here for practical, proven guidance on staying strong after 60. And if you're feeling brave, drop a comment saying, "I'm ready to change," so I know you're walking this journey with me. Now let's begin. For more than 60 years as a physician caring for older adults, I've heard the same story on repeat. They tell me, "Doctor, my legs just aren't what they used to be," and they shrug as if that's the end of it, as if it's their destiny. But let me tell you what I've learned over decades. Your legs don't just get weak because you're aging. That's the lie too many people accept. And believing that lie is dangerous. It makes you give up. It convinces you there's no point trying. The real problem is much simpler but more serious. Your legs are starving. Not for expensive pills or fancy gym memberships, but for 3 essential nutrients you used to get almost without thinking. As we age, our bodies change in subtle ways no one warns us about. Your stomach produces less acid, so you stop absorbing vitamin B12 well, even if you're eating meat or eggs. Your skin loses the ability to turn sunlight into vitamin D as efficiently, and you start spending more time indoors. Your intestines become less effective at taking in magnesium. On top of that, common medications for heartburn, blood pressure, and diabetes quietly drain these nutrients day after day, year after year. It's like trying to fill a leaky bucket without realizing there's a hole. Over time, you end up depleted, and your body begins to show the consequences. Muscles lose power, nerves weaken, balance falters, and you start to believe there's no fixing it because that's just getting old. But that's not true. I want to share with you the story of Emily. She was 79 when she first walked, or rather, shuffled, into my office, clinging tightly to her daughter's arm. Emily had always been strong. She used to climb the big front steps of her house without thinking, chase after her grandchildren in the yard. But now her legs trembled so badly, she worried they might buckle at any moment. The look on her face wasn't just fear, it was shame. She felt like she'd failed somehow, as if this weakness was her fault. She looked at me and said in a cracking voice, "Doctor, I don't understand. I eat normally. I try to walk every day. Why am I getting weaker?" Her daughter looked equally heartbroken. She said, "Mum used to be so strong, but ever since Dad died, she barely leaves the house." I've heard versions of this story so many times I've lost count. It's what happens when people start believing frailty is inevitable. They stay inside more. They lose the sunlight their bodies need. They eat unbalanced meals. They skip breakfast. They live on toast and cheese instead of real meals. And little by little, their bodies give up the fight. When I asked Emily what she was eating every day, she admitted to white bread, a little cheese, coffee in the morning, almost no green vegetables, rarely any milk. Some days she didn't even eat breakfast because she wasn't hungry. She lowered her head, clearly embarrassed, and whispered, "So what can I do now?" I looked her in the eyes and told her gently but firmly, "Emily, you're not too old to get stronger. You're just missing what your muscles are begging for, because the real culprit isn't aging itself, it's deficiency. Nearly half of older adults are missing at least one of these three crucial vitamins, B12, D, and magnesium. And even if you think you're eating enough, your body might not be absorbing them properly. That's the part no one tells you. I want you to ask yourself honestly right now, do your legs feel weak when you try to stand up from a chair? Do your calves shake, making you worry you'll fall? Do you grab the wall or a chair to stay steady? Do you feel tingling or numbness in your feet, like ants crawling over them, or a weird burning sensation? Have you woken up in the night with a cramp so painful you had to jump out of bed? Are you simply too tired to move like you used to? If you said yes to even one of these, please understand. It's not just old age, it's your body asking for help. When Emily heard me explain this, tears filled her eyes. She had truly believed there was nothing to be done, that it was over for her. I smiled gently and told her, "No, Emily, it's not over. You're just missing what your body needs to keep fighting." A few weeks later, Emily walked back into my office on her own, no daughter holding her up. She even had a little bounce in her step. She laughed, half in disbelief, and said, "I never thought changing a few small things could make me feel like myself again." She's not alone. I read so many comments from people like her. One 93-year-old viewer told me, "I'm thankful for your advice. I take vitamins but never thought of sunlight." Another shared, "My cousin is battling cancer, and these small steps help us feel less helpless." Over and over people say, "I thought weakness was normal aging. Now I know it's not." Your stories matter. They prove this truth. It's not too late. Even if you're 60, 70, 80 or beyond, your body still listens if you give it what it needs. So let's talk about exactly what those needs are. They boil down to three essential nutrients, three simple vitamins that keep your nerves firing, your muscles strong, your balance steady. Vitamin B12, vitamin D, magnesium. I call them the vital trio. Vitamin B12 is like the insulation around an electric wire. When you're young, this coating is thick and strong, and the signals from your brain to your muscles travel at lightning speed. As you get older, your stomach makes less acid. Even if you're eating meat or eggs, your body struggles to pull out the B12. Without enough, your nerves get frayed. The signals slow. That's why your legs feel unsteady, like they're not even yours. Emily wasn't eating meat regularly. She skipped breakfast some days. She had no idea she was starving her nerves. Vitamin D is just as critical. It's the key to keeping bones strong and muscles powered. When you were younger, just playing outside gave you plenty, but now your skin doesn't make it as well, and you stay inside more. The result? Weak bones that break easily, muscles that tire quickly, loss of balance. Emily hadn't really seen the sun in years, but once she started sitting outside for just 10 minutes each morning, her body remembered what it was supposed to do. Finally, there's magnesium, the quiet coordinator. Magnesium is what lets your muscles contract and relax smoothly. Without it, they lock up. You wake in agony at 2 a.m. with a calf cramp so fierce you can't even breathe. It also helps keep your heart rhythm steady and your overall energy up. But as you age, your intestines get worse at absorbing magnesium, and many common medicines drain it away. So even people who eat reasonably well can end up deficient without knowing it. And that's why so many older adults find themselves getting weaker month after month, thinking it's just age, when really it's the slow, silent robbery of essential nutrients. Emily didn't know any of this when she first walked into my office, but she learned, she changed, and so can you. Because the truth is, your body is still capable of healing, of rebuilding, of surprising you, if you just give it what it needs. Now that you understand why your body is crying out for help, let's talk about how you can actually fix it. Because here's the good news most people never hear. Your body is still capable of healing, even after 60, 70, or 80 years. It may not seem like it now. Maybe you feel too tired to imagine it. Maybe you think it's too late. But I've watched hundreds of older adults regain strength in their legs and rediscover their independence just by changing a few small habits. I want you to remember this. It doesn't take big, dramatic changes. It takes small, consistent steps. That's the part that gives hope to so many people who had given up. Let me tell you about another patient, Matthew. He was 83 when he first came to see me. He'd worked his whole life as a mechanic, a proud, strong man who never asked for help. But when he sat down in my office, he looked defeated. His eyes were tired, his shoulders slumped. He told me he couldn't walk more than 5 minutes before his calves would seize up with cramps so bad he'd have to sit down, sweating from the pain. At night, he was forced to curl up on the edge of the bed, waiting for the agony to pass. He confessed in a low voice, "I thought I'd end up in a wheelchair. I didn't want to be a burden on my kids." His story is heartbreakingly common. So many older adults don't just fear pain, they fear losing their independence, losing their dignity, being that person their family has to take care of all the time. And those fears keep them up at night as much as the cramps do. I sat with Matthew and explained the same truth I'm telling you now. His muscles weren't failing because of age alone. They were exhausted from years of vitamin and mineral deficiency, and it wasn't his fault. It was the quiet result of aging bodies absorbing less, eating simpler, and medicines depleting what little stores they had. He didn't believe me at first. He was skeptical, but he had nothing left to lose. So he agreed to try a simple plan. Every morning, he sat outside for 10 minutes, letting the soft sun warm his arms. At lunch, he added 1 piece of salmon or a boiled egg. At night, he ate half a banana before bed. During the day, he kept a small bag of almonds in his pocket to snack on. The first week, nothing dramatic. He still had cramps. He still felt tired. But by the 3rd week, he walked in and sat down without groaning. He smiled at me for the first time and said, "Doctor, I didn't have any cramps last night." 2 months later, he was walking out to his garden every morning. No cane, no help, just a quiet pride in his eyes. It wasn't magic. It was giving his body exactly what it needed to finally do its job. That's the thing I want you to truly understand. Your body still knows how to heal. You just need to give it what it's been missing. So let's get practical. Let's talk about exactly how you can do this in your own home without expensive pills or complicated regimens. Because you don't need to order fancy supplements off the internet. You don't need to buy bottles with marketing hype. You need simple, real food and a bit of daily sun. First, vitamin B12. This vitamin is like the protective plastic around your nerves. When you're young, that insulation is thick. Signals travel from your brain to your muscles instantly. But as you age, your stomach makes less acid. Even if you're eating meat or eggs, you might not be pulling out the B12 you need. That's why older adults, even those with good appetites, can have frayed, worn-out nerves. The result? Legs that shake, muscles that don't respond quickly, the sensation that you're not steady anymore. To fix this, you don't need fancy pills. You need consistent sources of B12 in your meals. For most people, that means 1 small portion of animal protein per day. A boiled egg at breakfast, a small piece of chicken breast or fish at lunch. Plain yogurt is another excellent source. It's not about giant servings. It's about getting just enough every day. And don't skip breakfast. This is one of the most common mistakes older adults make. They say, "I'm not hungry in the morning," and drink coffee on an empty stomach instead. But skipping breakfast starves your muscles of energy at the time they need it most. Even something simple like a boiled egg or a cup of yogurt can make a difference. Next is vitamin D. When you were younger, this was easy. Playing outside for an hour was enough to store plenty. But as you age, your skin loses its ability to make vitamin D efficiently. Add in staying indoors more, and you're nearly guaranteed to run low. The consequences: weak bones that can break from a simple fall, muscles that fatigue faster, loss of balance that turns every step into a risk. Emily, for example, had barely seen the sun in years. Just 10 minutes each morning of soft, early sunlight touching her arms and face helped her body start producing vitamin D again. You don't need to sunbathe for an hour in harsh midday heat. 10 to 15 minutes in the gentle morning sun is perfect. If you live somewhere cloudy or can't get outside easily, you can get vitamin D from food sources. Fatty fish like salmon or sardines twice a week, fortified milk or plant milks. Even a simple glass of milk with added vitamin D can help maintain your stores. Finally, magnesium, the quiet coordinator. This mineral is critical for letting your muscles contract and relax in smooth rhythm. When you don't have enough, they cramp up. That's why you wake up at 2 a.m. with your calf rock hard, pain so sharp you want to scream. Magnesium also helps regulate your heart rhythm and your overall energy. But older adults absorb less from food, and common medicines can drain it. To fix it, think small, consistent additions, a handful of pumpkin seeds or almonds each day, adding leafy greens like spinach or Swiss chard to one meal daily. Even half a banana before bed can help. I always tell my patients, don't think you need to overhaul your entire diet. Think about gentle, daily habits you can keep forever, and pay attention to the timing of your meals. Animal protein is best earlier in the day, breakfast or lunch, so your body can use it for energy all day. Magnesium-rich foods like seeds or leafy greens work well in the afternoon or evening, calming your muscles before bed. I've seen so many patients make these small changes and rediscover confidence in their own bodies. They stand up from chairs without fear. They walk to the mailbox without wobbling. They stop dreading nighttime cramps. And they regain something even more important than muscle strength: hope. Because when you feel strong enough to stand on your own 2 feet, you don't feel helpless anymore. You don't feel like a burden. You get to choose how you spend your days. I want to say this clearly to you. You are not too old to get stronger. You are not too late to change. Your body is not done fighting for you. You just have to give it the right tools. It can feel overwhelming at first. I know. Many patients have sat across from me, eyes full of fear, asking, "Doctor, do these little changes really matter at my age?" And I always tell them the same thing. It's not the big changes that heal you. It's the small things, done every day, that add up. Just one egg at breakfast, just 10 minutes of morning sun, just a handful of seeds. These are not hard, but they are powerful, because consistency is what your body understands best. If you've been listening this far, I want you to take a moment and say to yourself, I am not helpless. I am still capable of change. Because that's where it all starts. If you're still here with me, I want you to know that you're already taking the most important step. You're listening, you're learning. That alone sets you apart from so many people who give up too soon, who resign themselves to the idea that getting older means getting weaker, slower, more dependent. But you're not going to be one of them. You've decided to understand your body, to give it what it needs, so you can keep living on your own terms. Because there's something I've seen again and again. The people who change, even a little, are the ones who stay independent the longest. They're the ones who don't just live longer, but live better. They still tend their gardens, walk their neighborhoods, hold their grandkids without fear. They still feel like themselves. And isn't that what you really want? Not just years on the calendar, but real life in those years. So let's get even more practical. Let's talk about how you can build these habits into your daily routine so they don't feel like chores or complicated health plans, but become part of how you live. Because the real secret isn't making one giant change that fades away. It's creating small rituals that you actually want to keep. So start with your mornings. I tell every patient, never skip breakfast. I know the excuses. I'm not hungry. I just have coffee. But skipping breakfast is like trying to drive your car with no gas. Your muscles have no fuel for the day. Even a single boiled egg, a cup of plain yogurt, or a slice of whole grain toast with nut butter can make a difference. Don't overthink it. Just make it consistent. While you're at it, make morning sunlight part of your ritual. You don't need to bake yourself in the midday heat. Just 10 to 15 minutes of gentle early sun on your face and arms is enough to trigger your skin's vitamin D production. Sit on the porch with your tea. Walk to the mailbox. Tend a few potted plants. Make it pleasant. Make it yours. At lunch, think about getting your B12 from a small piece of lean protein. Chicken, fish, eggs, even fortified dairy or plant milk can help. Don't worry about giant portions, quality over quantity. And remember, you're not eating for volume, you're eating to give your nerves the coating they need to send fast, clear signals to your muscles. In the afternoon, add in magnesium-rich snacks. A small handful of pumpkin seeds or almonds is enough. If you like salads, toss in some spinach or Swiss chard. These are simple ingredients you can keep in your pantry or fridge with almost no fuss. And if you want a nighttime treat that helps, consider half a banana before bed. It's not only comforting, but adds magnesium and potassium to help your muscles relax. I've had patients tell me they thought these steps sounded too simple to work. Matthew was one of them. He'd say, "Doc, how can a boiled egg, a little sun, and a few seeds do anything when my legs feel this bad?" And I always smiled and told him, because your body is waiting for you to give it what it needs to do the work it's designed to do. Your body doesn't want to be weak. It doesn't want to fail you. It's doing the best it can with what you give it. But here's what most people don't realize. Even if you eat a lot, if you're not eating the right things, you're still starving your muscles and nerves. Older adults often simplify their diets over time, not realizing that simpler often means emptier. Toast and cheese, coffee, a little soup. And over time, those meals that used to be enough stop working because your body absorbs less from them. And if you're taking certain medications, it's draining away even more of the vitamins and minerals you need. That's why people say to me, "But doctor, I eat fine. I don't eat junk." And they're telling the truth, but fine isn't enough anymore. Not at this stage of life. Your body is like a garden that needs more tending as it gets older, not less. You wouldn't skip watering your flowers and then be surprised they wilted. Your muscles and nerves are the same. Let's not pretend any of this is about vanity. This isn't about looking young. It's about living well. It's about staying on your feet, getting out of bed without fear, avoiding the terrifying cascade that happens after a bad fall. Because here's something I tell every patient. Falling isn't just an accident. It's often the final symptom of years of lost strength, weak legs, poor balance, slow reflexes. These are all preventable, or at least improvable, if you feed your body what it needs. I want you to think about what independence really means to you. Maybe it's cooking your own meals, taking care of your spouse, visiting your kids without needing help in and out of the car. Maybe it's as simple as walking to the bathroom at night without worrying you'll slip and break a hip. That independence is priceless, and you deserve to keep it as long as possible. So don't let anyone tell you you're too old to change. Don't tell yourself it's too late. I've seen people in their 90s turn things around. I've watched them go from needing 2 hands on the rail just to stand to walking confidently down the hall. It wasn't magic, it was vitamins, sunlight, a little patience, a little faith in their own body's ability to heal. And let's be clear, this isn't about never feeling pain or never being tired. Aging has its challenges. But there's a big difference between normal slowing down and the kind of weakness that steals your freedom. And you have a choice about which path you follow. I'm not here to sell you anything except the truth, that you can start today. You can make the choice now. You don't need fancy pills or supplements that cost a fortune. You need small, steady habits. And the best part? You'll feel the difference faster than you think. I want to leave you with what I call the 5 golden principles that have helped so many of my patients rediscover their strength. First, never skip breakfast and don't eat in a rush. Give your body fuel early. Second, spend at least 10 minutes in gentle morning sunlight. It's free medicine. Third, eat at least 1 serving of fish or eggs daily. Tiny changes, huge payoff. Fourth, get magnesium from seeds and leafy greens every single day. Your muscles will thank you at 2 a.m. when you don't wake up screaming in pain. Fifth, don't wait until you're too weak to start. The sooner you begin, the faster you improve. If you're listening to me right now, please don't dismiss this as just talk. I want you to say out loud with me, I am not helpless. I will do 1 small thing every day to help my body. Repeat it every morning, every night. Make it a promise to yourself, because you deserve to feel strong. You deserve to feel steady. You deserve to trust your legs. No matter how many birthdays you've celebrated, it's not too late to make this change. I want you to imagine waking up tomorrow, eating a real breakfast, stepping outside into the gentle sun, taking a deep breath and saying, I'm doing this because I want to live independently. I want to stay strong. Imagine your family seeing you stand up without wobbling. Imagine them not worrying so much. Imagine you not worrying so much. That's what this is about, not perfection. Just small daily victories. If this talk has been helpful to you, please consider clicking, like so more people can find it. Share it with a friend, a sibling, or a parent who needs to hear these words, because sometimes 1 small piece of information can change an entire chapter of someone's life. Thank you for spending this time with me. Remember, you are not too old to heal. You are not too weak to grow stronger. Your body still wants to help you. Give it the chance. And I promise you'll be amazed at what it can do.